This is a great example of a question where if you get it wrong, it's because at some point in your life you have memorized a fake grammar rule. It is not a real grammar rule, and it probably has to do with the colon. You might have at some point learned colons are for lists. That is not a real thing. That is bad. Do not memorize this. If anything, memorize that it's a fake rule, because the SAT knows that you know it and somehow everyone has learned it, but it's not real. Some colons are for lists, but it very much depends on the structure of the sentence. So let's evaluate that, knowing what the actual colon rule is, which is that we need to have a complete sentence before the colon, and then after it we have some flexibility. We could have a list. We could also just have one word if we wanted to, or another complete sentence. We have a lot of flexibility, but we don't have flexibility with the starting part. That has to be a sentence. So let's read up to the colon and see how it sounds. In her book, The Woman Warrior, Memoirs of a Girlhood Among Ghosts, author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes of. Do you hear it? You can't just stop there, right? Like, we're clearly continuing the thought. So there's no reason to put basically what would be a period there, right? That's what a colon is functioning as. It's saying we've ended our sentence. And then usually what we're doing is we're using the colon to add on kind of an answer or explanation for some question that was kind of raised by the first sentence. Not a literal question, but some sort of like obvious question. So there are other ways to write the sentence that might use the colon, but as written, we need to just flow right into this list. We don't want a punctuation mark at all. So A is wrong. C is kind of the same thing. There's no reason for a comma. Let the commas be in the list. And then it's just B, right? There's no punctuation necessary here. We're just flowing in. Author Maxine Hong Kingston examines themes of childhood, womanhood, and Chinese American identity by intertwining autobiography and mythology. Just flow right in. But they know that you have at some point learned that colons are for lists. I don't know why everyone thinks that this is a thing. Just like an Etch-a-Sketch, shake your mind until that rule is erased. It is fake, it is not real, and it is going to come up on the SAT because they know you learned it at some point. Just get rid of it. It's much more, colons are much more complicated, but regardless, the simple thing is we need to have a sentence beforehand. Check that, and you should be able to use colons correctly.